Late at night, when the moon was high and the world was quiet, a little boy named Leo sat on his bed, staring at his closet. It had creaked just once, not like the usual creaks that came from old wood or sneaky mice, but more like a whisper. He leaned forward. There it was again. A faint shimmer of light leaked through the edges of the door, dancing like rainbow mist. Leo slid off his bed, tiptoeing across the room. His heart thumped, not with fear, but with something closer to wonder. The closet door was slightly ajar now. The air smelled sweet, like cotton candy and summer rain. He pushed it open. Inside wasn't clothes or shoes. It was a glowing archway shaped like a gate, swirling with every color imaginable. Red like roses, blue like frozen lakes, yellow like the sun before breakfast. As Leo reached his hand toward the gate, it pulsed softly, as if waiting for him. And then, without a sound, the rainbow gate opened wider. The moment Leo stepped through the rainbow gate, the air shimmered like glitter on a breeze. He blinked. The world had changed. Gone was his room. Now he stood in a valley where the sky was painted in watercolor swirls, pink, orange, blue, and gold. Gigantic dandelions floated in the air like glowing balloons, and the grass below his feet sparkled like tiny stars. A small creature stood nearby. It wore a top hat, had eyes shaped like crescent moons, and a soft voice that sounded like wind chimes. "You're not from here," it said with a smile. Leo stepped closer. "Where is this place?" "This is the kingdom of painted skies," the creature replied. "And you've just arrived during the Festival of Shadows." "Festival of Shadows?" Leo asked. The little guide only giggled and waved its hand. From the air, a path of floating tiles appeared, each one lighting up with every step. Leo followed. In the distance, he saw a castle made entirely of soft light, and from its windows, long shimmering shadows danced like living silk. They were waiting for him. Leo stepped carefully along the glowing tiles, each one lit up under his feet, as if the path itself was alive. The light from the castle grew brighter with every step, and the dancing shadows in the windows grew slower, gentle, as if they were watching. When he reached the final step, the giant doors of the glowing castle opened with a silent breeze. Warm golden light poured out, brushing his face like sunshine through soft curtains. Inside, it was quiet. The walls shimmered, not with gold or jewels, but with stories. Moving pictures flowed across the walls, forests that breathed, stars that whispered, waves that sang lullabies. Then Leo saw him. A boy about his age stood in the middle of the hall, but his figure flickered between light and shadow. His eyes were kind but deep, like the night sky just before dawn. "I've been waiting," the boy said. "Who are you?" Leo asked. The figure gave a soft smile. "I'm the Shadow Prince," and as he stepped forward, his shadow stretched far behind him, but it didn't follow .it wave. The Shadow Prince turned and gestured for Leo to follow him. They walked down a hallway of glowing arches. The air felt like a quiet song, soft, slow, and full of memories Leo couldn't quite name. They stopped in front of a round wooden door. "This," said the Shadow Prince, "is the room of forgotten dreams." The door opened by itself, creaking gently inside. The room was filled with floating orbs of light. Each one shimmered with colors that danced and changed, some soft like lullabies, others bright like laughter. Leo reached out to one. The moment his fingers touched it, a scene appeared above the orb. A little boy drawing on a wall with crayons, giggling. It was him, but younger, a moment he had forgotten. "All dreams leave traces," said the Shadow Prince. "Some stay with us, some drift away, but none are truly lost." Leo walked slowly through the glowing orbs, each showing fragments of childhood wishes flying with paper wings, talking to clouds, dancing with invisible friends. Then, at the very center of the room, there was one orb that pulsed like a heartbeat. Leo stepped closer, and it whispered his name. The glowing orb pulsed brighter as Leo stepped closer. It didn't show memories like the others. Instead, it whispered, not with words, but with a feeling, a gentle tug, like being called by something you forgot you loved. Leo reached out, and the orb floated into his hands. It was warm, almost alive. Suddenly, the room grew quieter. All the other orbs faded into a soft shimmer, and the Shadow Prince stepped forward. "That one," he said softly, "is yours." Leo blinked. "But what is it?" The Shadow Prince knelt beside him. "It's the wish you buried when you thought growing up meant letting go." The orb began to rise, slowly floating above Leo's head. Light spilled out like sunlight underwater, showing glimpses of Leo flying through clouds, laughing with stars, running barefoot through sky-colored fields. Then the orb dissolved. In its place, a small silver key hovered. Leo reached up and took it. "The next door awaits," said the Shadow Prince, smiling gently. "But only those who remember how to wish can open it." Leo held the key tightly. Somewhere deep inside, he felt the memory of joy and wonder and flight. Leo held the silver key tightly as they left the room of forgotten dreams. The hallway ahead was darker now, but not in a scary way. It felt quiet, like a forest before dawn. At the end of the corridor stood a tall arched door. It had no handle, only a small glowing keyhole that shimmered like the surface of a pond. As they approached, Leo's heartbeat echoed louder in his ears. "This is the door that waits," the Shadow Prince said. "It only opens for those who carry a wish." Leo nodded. His hand trembled slightly as he raised the key. It slid into the keyhole as if the door had always known it. With a soft click, the door glowed from within. Light spread through the lines carved into the wood, forming shapes of clouds, stars, waves, and birds. The door slowly opened. Beyond it was sky, not just above, but below, beside, and around. Leo stepped forward and found himself standing on a bridge of mist, suspended in a sea of floating islands, glimmering waterfalls, and drifting lanterns that looked like stars. A breeze passed, and for the first time, Leo felt weightless. "You may fly here," said the Shadow Prince, stepping beside him. "But only if you trust the wish you hold." Leo looked down at his feet. The mist held him, the sky welcomed him, and with a single breath, he ran forward and leapt. Leo soared. There were no wings, just the wish. It lifted him like a breeze under his feet, steady and kind. He drifted between floating islands covered in glowing Mars. Waterfalls poured into the clouds, and birds made of light flew in gentle spirals beside him. Some of the lanterns whispered little songs as they passed, each note like a soft bell. The sky wasn't cold. It felt warm, like a memory. And then he noticed that the sky was reflecting him. Each time he moved, the star shifted slightly. When he laughed, a constellation nearby flickered in response. Below him, in the open air, shapes began to form. At first, they looked like clouds, but then he saw pictures. A painting in the sky. One showed him as a baby being held by his mother. Another showed a younger version of him chasing bubbles in the rain. One even showed him hugging his teddy bear in the middle of a forest. They weren't just memories, they were feelings. He floated, surrounded by everything he had ever loved but forgotten. Every joy, every quiet moment. Then, slowly, the Shadow Prince appeared beside him, floating too. No longer made of shadow, but light. "Now you see," the prince said softly. "The sky remembers everything we think we've lost." Leo nodded. He felt tears, but they weren't sad. They were full. Leo and the Shadow Prince floated side by side as the sky around them shimmered with memory and meaning. The stars no longer felt far away. They felt like home. Then, the sky began to shift, not in fear, but in invitation. From far above, a glowing ribbon of light appeared, twisting gently like a river in the air. The Shadow Prince turned to Leo and said softly, "It's time." "Time for what?" Leo asked. "To carry it back." The ribbon floated toward them and wrapped gently around Leo's hand. In a blink, the floating sky, the glowing memories, the lanterns, and even the prince all faded into soft mist. Leo opened his eyes. He was in his bed, the same old room, the same soft sheets. The closet door was closed. But something had changed. A faint shimmer still glowed beneath his blanket, where the ribbon of light remained, warm, quiet, and real. He smiled and closed his eyes again, not out of sleepiness, but peace. Outside the window, a shooting star traced the sky, and if someone looked closely at the stars that night, one might say, they twinkled back just a little more than usual.